education, housewife, is married for last 30 years to Mr. Ahmed. She is para 7 with one miscarriage, last born child 20 years, and menopausal from 1 year. She is resident of Kannar, admitted via outpatient department of Sir Gangaram Hospital on 19th August 2020 with presenting complaint of postmenopausal bleeding from 1 month. My patient is non-diabetic from last 5 years, taking some oral hypoglycemics, but her blood sugar levels are not controlled, and her last visit to physician was 2 years back. She is menopausal from last 2 years. There is no history of the postmenopausal bleeding or spotting since then. 1 month back, my patient experienced the postmenopausal bleeding. It is sudden in onset, unprovoked, moderate in amount, bright red in color, and associated with the passage of the clots. And she soaks 2 to 3 pads per day. There is no regular pattern of the bleeding, and there are no set bleeding free days, and bleeding is relieved by taking some medication. There is also history of the pervaginal discharge, which is moderate in amount, reddish in color, non foul smelling, and she soaks 1 pad per day. However, there is no history of the itching or fever associated with discharge. Also, there is history of the lower abdominal pain from 1 month, and intermittent, mild in intensity, non-radiating, and aggravated at the end of the day, and relieved by taking some medications. This is affecting is affecting her quality of the life, that he has started to experience the dyspnea is and easy fatigability, to an extent that she cannot do her household activities and has to gain extra help for it. Her coital frequency is reduced. There is no history of the vaginal dryness or dysuria, but there is no history of the something coming out of the vagina, or mass coming, or feeling of the mass in the abdomen. There is no history of the drug use, or in the form of the hormonal or non-hormonal drugs, or the blood thinning agents, and uh, blood thinning agents. And also, there is no history of the any radiotherapy. For these complaints, my patient visited multiple local practitioners and got temporary relief by the medications, and ultimately she was referred to the Sir Gangaram Hospital. During her stay in the hospital, her blood and urine tests are done, her ultrasound is being done, and nature and the course of the disease is not discussed with my patient. However, she is asked to arrange 1 unit of the blood. My patient Mark is at the age of the 11 years. My patient Mark is at the age of the 11 years. She used to bleed for the 6 to, she used to, her menstrual cycle was 6 by 28 with every flow. No history of the dysmenorrhea, dyspareunia, intermenstrual or postcoital bleeding. Couple never practiced any contraception, and her pap smear has never been taken. Uh, uh, she is mother of 7 children, and had one miscarriage. She had one first trimester miscarriage, not followed by the DNC. She had four boys and 3 girls. All are alive, healthy, breastfed, and vaccinated. No antenatal, intrapartum, or postpartum complications. She is non-smoker, non-addict. Her sleep and appetite are normal, and there is no history of the asthma, tuberculosis, cardiac disease, or ischemic heart disease, and no known drug or the food allergy. She is her past medical and surgical history is non-significant, except that appendectomy, which was done 20 years back under spinal anesthesia without any complication. And there is no family history of the there is no family history of the there is no family history of there is no family history of the breast, colorectal or endometrial carcinoma, and no family history of the diabetes, hypertension, anemia, tuberculosis, and if her husband is her husband is non-employed, and she is dependent on her son, and who earns about 20,000 per month, and they are eight dependents and necessities of the life are met with difficulty. On examination, my patient of the height 5.3 and weight 90 kg, making her BMI of 30 kg per meter square, sitting comfortably on bed, well oriented in time, place, and person. Her blood pressure is 120 by 80. Pulse is 98 beats per minute. Temperature is 98 degree, and respiratory rate is 18 per minute. She is pale looking, but she is not jaundiced. No clubbing, koilonychia, or dental hygiene is satisfactory. Thyroid is not enlarged. All accessible lymph nodes are not palpable. On system, breast is normal, looking with normal nipple areola complex bilaterally. No pulsations or the no visible pulsations or scar marks. No lump palpable in all four quadrants of the breast and the axillary tail. There is no spinal deformity, sacral or pedal edema. Chest is moving bilaterally, symmetrically with respiration, and she has normal vesicular breathing with no added sounds, no visible pulsations or the scar marks in the cardiac area. Her apex beat is in the fifth intercostal space. She has first and second heart sounds are audible with no added sounds. Her abdomen is scaphoid with the inverted umbilicus, no tenderness or the visceromegaly, and no striatus scar marks or visible pulsations, no tenderness or the visceromegaly. Vulva is normal looking. Cervix is normal looking with no discharge or the bleeding. Uterus is 8-week size with restricted mobility, anteverted, and bilateral furnaces are clear. My glove finger is stained with the blood at the end of the examination.
Okay, investigation.
I need her blood group with Rh factor.
B positive.
I need her complete blood count with date, in which I need hemoglobin in gram per deciliter, total leukocyte count in total leukocyte count, and platelet count in 10 raised to the power 9 per liter. Total leukocyte count in cubic millimeter and platelets in 10 raised to the power 9 per liter.
Hemoglobin is 9 gram per deciliter. TLC platelets are normal.
This hemoglobin is pre-transfusion or post-transfusion, and it is on which date?
Have your patient been transfused blood?
No, there is no history of the transfusion, but
Then
this is
why,
done on which date?
then why you are saying pre-transfusion or post-transfusion?
Okay, I want to confirm the date of this hemoglobin.
Done 3 days ago.
ये पीछे से आवाज बहुत ज्यादा आ रही है। दूसरी है कि वो डेट मुझे समझ नहीं आई डॉक्टर शाफिया।
15th August.
I want her peripheral smear and RBC indices MCV in femtoliter, MCH in picogram per liter, and MCHC in gram per liter.
All indices are normal.
And peripheral smear,
Not available.
I need her hepatitis B surface antigen and anti-HCV status.
Negative.
I need, since my patient is diabetic and admitted, I need her 6 blood sugar levels.
Blood glucose levels are controlled.
I need her renal function test.
What you need in renal function test?
I need urea and the creatinine.
Normal.
I need her urine complete examination, including microscopy and biochemistry. In microscopy, I need pus cells and RBCs, and in biochemistry, I need sugar and proteins.
1 to 2 pus cells, 30 to 40 RBCs, sugar 2 plus protein nil.
I need her pelvic ultrasound report, in which I need the endometrial thickness, regularity of the endometrium, the endometrial mymetrial echo texture, and the adnexal pathology or bilateral ovarian status, and the presence of the ascites.
We'll discuss later.
I need her pap smear report if available.
Not
I need her biopsy report if available.
Have biopsy been taken?
No, biopsy is not taken, but sometimes it is taken during the outpatient department during examination, and patient is not aware of it. So
Not
this is
done.
why I am asking if available.
Biopsy
Okay.
is not done.
Okay. I want her treatment ticket.
What you need on treatment ticket?
My patient is diabetic. I want to see what she is taking.
She is taking glucophage 500 milligram TDS.
Okay. My further investigations will depend upon the report of the biopsy, and I may need MRI.
Okay.
Bus done.
Okay. Summarize.
55 years of age, para 7 with 1 miscarriage, menopausal from 2 years, diabetic, presented with the postmenopausal bleeding from 1 month. From 1 month, she is there is history of the anorexia and weight loss. She is pale looking, and her BMI is 30. Her uterus is 8-week size with antibodies with restricted mobility, but bilateral adnexa. Cervix is normal looking, and bilateral adnexa are clear.
What is differential diagnosis?
So iron deficiency and investigation show iron deficiency anemia. Sorry, क्या कहा?
What is your differential diagnosis?
My differential diagnosis is my first differential diagnosis is an endometrial pathology, which could be polyp, hyperplasia, or malignancy. Because it is more towards which is my first provisional diagnosis, because there are more risk factors of the because my patient is having risk factors for the endometrial pathology, that she is diabetic, her BMI is 30, and her age of menarche is 10 years. My second provisional diagnosis is atrophic vaginitis, but it is less likely because because my patient is having history of the passage of the clots, and she is soaking 2 to 3 pads per day, and this pattern of the bleeding is less likely in the atrophic vaginitis, and also there are histories of the dysuria and the vaginal dryness which are not present in my patient. My third differential is my third differential is benign pre-invasive disease of the cervix. But it is less likely because cervix is normal looking, but it will be ruled out after the pap smear report.
Okay, what is your provisional diagnosis?
My first provisional diagnosis is the endometrial pathology, which could be polyp, hyperplasia, or the endometrial carcinoma, and it will be confirmed on the ultrasound and then further on the biopsy report.
Okay. How will you manage? How will you manage?
before management, I need to complete my missing investigations. I need her pelvic ultrasound, in which I need the endometrial thickness, the regularity of the endometrium, any adnexal pathology, ovarian status, and the presence of the ascites.
Endometrial thickness is 3 mm and uterus is 8 into 6 into 7 centimeter and 3 into 3 centimeter focal lesion present in the uterine fundus.
I want her pap smear report.
Pap smear not done.
Okay. Um, my first step of the management is counseling. I will counsel my patient that she is diabetic and she has presented with the postmenopausal bleeding, which in 90% of the cases it is due to the benign causes, but 10% causes are the malignant, and we have to rule out this cause by the endometrial biopsy. And I will further counsel my patient after the report of the histopathology is available. Since there is focal pathology, and although her endometrial thickness is less than cutoff of the 4 millimeters, but there is a focal pathology, so I will go for the endometrial biopsy. In this case, ideally the hysteroscopy guided biopsy should be done, but since the facility is not available in then I will go for the outpatient. Then I will go for the pale biopsy, which is the quickest method of and the cost effective method, and associated with the no risk of the anesthesia. Also, I will take her pap smear and will decide upon the reports of the biopsy and the pap smear. Meanwhile, I will control her blood sugar levels, and will control her anemia, and will treat her comorbidities. For the control of the diabetes, I will involve the multidisciplinary team, including the physician, diabetologist.
What
I
is
will
your
counsel her about
interpretation about that focal lesion?
this focal lesion is most likely the polyp, which can polyps are also benign in 90% of the cases, but to rule out the malignancy, we have to we have to do the diagnostic DNC, which can be done by the hysteroscopy guided pipal biopsy, or the DNC under GA, or the Vebra aspirator.
Then why you have taken, how polypectomy can be done by people?
I am not going for the polypectomy. I am going for the DNC first, biopsy first. I will
Biopsy.
decide.
How you have taken biopsy of your patient?
Ideally, in the focal lesion, the hysteroscopy guided biopsy should be taken. But since
If
the
the
facility
copy is
is not
not
available,
available, then in this setup, what will you do?
I will do biopsy by the Pepel method.
If you have taken biopsy by people and malignancy was in a polyp or that focal lesion and that have been missed, then what will you do? Is there any
Yet,
method after a hysteroscopy that can be done in your patient?
yes, there is the chance of missing the focal pathology in the polyp,
Then
because the Pepel samples only 4% of the endometrium. This is why I said that a hysteroscopy guided biopsy should be done, but from the available options, Pepel is the most cost effective and the option, because that the diagnostic DNC under GA and the Pepel will sample equally 4%. So
more important or life of patient more important? If there is some polyp that you are suspecting or some focal malignancy or some submucosal fibroid, whatever, why you are not going for polypectomy and diagnostic DNC?
Polypectomy and diagnostic DNC
And
under
if
GA.
malignancy lies under no, polypectomy diagnostic DNC can be done under regional anesthesia.
Okay, under anesthesia. You mean polypectomy and
Contraindication of regional anesthesia in your patient.
there is no contraindication of the regional anesthesia.
But
Yes,
that
it can
comes
be done,
normal and
but
polyp contains
but it will not add anything further because it will also sample only 4% of the endometrium, and the papilla will also sample the 4% of the endometrium.
how much area diagnostic DNC covers?
4%,
Where it's
equal
written.
to the. अच्छा, ये किताबों में यही
And
लिखा है.
what about polyp? Okay, you have to send me reference about 4% of the area covered by diagnostic DNC.
40% लिखा हुआ है डायग्नोस्टिक डीएनसी से 40% होता है 4% पाइपल से और 96% हिस्टेरोस्कोपी गाइडेड से.
Then what about polyp? Even if you are more concerned about area covered, is it important to exclude pathology in polyp or not?
Yes, there is most likely the pathology in the polyp because the endometrial thickness is less than the cutoff value of the.
Removed or covered on people or not?
No, it is not covered. My plan was to
What
do
we know?
the diagnostic DNC and then we'll plan for the polypectomy. And okay, इसमें फिर I will plan for the polypectomy and DNC and the regional anesthesia, and will decide further upon the report of the this
Anesthesia is
biopsy.
not your domain. It's anesthetist domain. And after history and examination, there is no contraindication in your patient to any anesthesia, even to GA or ketamine or sedation or whatever. It's anesthetist domain. But you must be crystal clear about your domain that patient is having polyp. Ideally, there should be hysteroscopic guided. Rather, you can say as that I will do her hysteroscopic guided endometrial biopsy. And if examiner says, do you have expertise and facilities? So then you say if facilities and expertise are not available, or as I am not having expertise and facilities, then the option, best available option to me for this patient is diagnostic DNC and polypectomy.
Okay.
Okay then.
ठीक है.
Yes, if there was no focal lesion, then best option was outpatient biopsy by PPAP.
ठीक है. Okay. Polypectomy and DNC. My further management will depend upon the report of the histopathology.
Histopathology report is normal.
If the histopathology report is normal and I have done the polypectomy and DNC and her blood sugar levels are optimized and her anemia is built up, and then I will discharge the patient and will call for the follow-up.
बस
And after seeing the pap smear report, फिर तो polypectomy DNC कर दी तो बस फिर खत्म नहीं. 3 मिलीमीटर तो उसकी है endometrial thickness और DNC पे भी हिस्टोपैथोलॉजी नॉर्मल आ गई है, तो फिर तो कुछ
have you
नहीं बनता.
assessed your patient for symptom improvement and how you have built up her anemia?
वो तो मैंने स्टार्ट में बताने लगी थी, आपने भी बता वो उसमें करने वो फॉर द एनीमिया. Since my patient is having a hemoglobin of 9 gram per deciliter, I will transfuse her with 1 unit of the PET cell volume after discussing the pros and cons of the blood transfusion reaction and after taking the informed consent of the blood transfusion. Also, I will keep 1 unit of the blood arranged. For the control of the diabetes, I will explain her the dietary modifications and the walk after the exercise. I will explain her to
do
take 3
everything by yourself?
I will be in the multidisciplinary team including dietitian. वो मैंने पहले mention
You
कर
have
दी है.
never involved.
Dietitian, physician, for diabetologist, and I will put her on the insulin and according to the weight, and will titrate the dose of the insulin according to the blood sugar levels. Once her conditions are optimized, then I will once her conditions are optimized, her histopathology report is normal, her pap smear report is normal, then I will
Pap smear was not done. How you say that pap smear report is normal? Have you sent
मैंने
the pap smear? Or you have
I have sent the pap smear report, and I will be
have
tracing
you
the pap
sent the
smear
pap
report
smear?
because I have to rule out the benign diseases of the cervix still, because it is the cause of the postmenopausal bleeding. After the biopsy and pap smear report, then I will discharge my patient.
Endometrial biopsy you have received. Then have you assessed your patient for symptom improvement?
I will call my patient for the follow-up, and on the follow-up, I will ask about the symptoms improvement, any episode of the further,
How many
any
days
episode,
biopsy takes to come back?
2 weeks. It takes 2 weeks to come back.
And after 2 weeks, your patient presented with endometrial biopsy report and that was normal. Then how you decided that I have to discharge her?
Because after the control of the diabetes and anemia, I will discharge her and will call her for the follow-up on with the endometrial biopsy report.
Endometrial biopsy has
Or
been given to you. Then now what will you do?
since my now I will assess my patient. If since she has come after 2 weeks, I will ask for the symptoms improvement, for the diabetes
If you have
control, for the
told me
I
that
will assess for the anemia.
biopsy is normal, I will discharge my patient and call her for follow-up. Why?
On
What
after
was your
controlling
aim
her
of
diabetes and
endometrial
anemia,
biopsy?
I will discharge. Ji?
What was your aim of endometrial biopsy?
My aim of endometrial biopsy was to rule out the any hyperplasia or carcinoma of endometrium.
Okay, you excluded that. Then what was cause of bleeding in your patient?
The cause of the bleeding in my patient is most likely due to this endometrial polyp.
Does endometrial polyps cause heavy bleeding?
Normally, this is not the pattern associated with the endometrial polyp. Endometrial polyps cause intermenstrual bleeding or sometimes postcoital bleeding, but they can also present with the postmenopausal bleeding.
But heavy postmenopausal bleeding, what is that?
No, they do not normally cause the heavy
Then
postmenopausal
what
bleeding.
can be cause of bleeding in your patient?
This cause of the bleeding may be due to the atrophic vaginitis, due to the endometrial pathology, which is ruled out on the endometrial biopsy, and also it can be due to
How
the
you excluded atrophic vaginitis on endometrial biopsy?
I did not rule out atrophic vaginitis on endometrial biopsy. I said that this pattern of the bleeding is less likely associated with the atrophic vaginitis. I will assess on the report of the once the endometrial biopsy report is there and then the endometrial pathology is ruled out, then I will ask for the symptoms improvement. If the symptoms are not improved after
Symptoms
the
are still
polypectomy,
persistent.
then I will give her treatment of the atrophic vaginitis in the form of the local estrogen cream. आवाज खराब हो गई.
आ रही है.
हेलो.
हाँ डॉक्टर इरम आवाज आ रही है आपकी.
जी जी अब आ रही है, अब आ रही है.
What is most common cause of postmenopausal bleeding?
Most common cause of postmenopausal bleeding is atrophic vaginitis.
Then why your first differential diagnosis was endometrial pathology? Even
Because of the pattern of the bleeding, she
what
was bleeding heavily, which led to the anemia. Iman. So this is less likely in atrophic vaginitis.
have you excluded other causes of anemia? What are dietary
My patient
your patient?
my patient my patient had episode of the postmenopausal bleeding which was heavy, and her symptoms developed after the episode of the
No, my
after.
question is, have you addressed dietary habits? What are dietary habits of your patient?
although her diet is not adequate in meat and egg and great vegetable, but since these symptoms are associated with the after this episode of the heavy
What
bleeding,
about the
so most likely this
patient?
anemia is related to this bleeding.
At which hemoglobin level patient becomes symptomatic?
Patients feel symptoms at the severe anemia, that is hemoglobin below 7. But since
Before having episode of bleeding, if she was having hemoglobin of 8, then what? And what about her worm infestation? Is it
Dr.
possible
Shadi,
the patient was previously having anemia, and once she developed episode of bleeding, she entered into severe anemia and she became symptomatic? Have you addressed other causes of anemia?
डॉक्टर शाज़िया, गायनी के पेशेंट में भी पूरी एनीमिया की हिस्ट्री लो, यही तो मेरा वीक पॉइंट आपने शुक्र से खुद ही एड्रेस कर लिया. गायनी के पेशेंट में एनीमिया की सारी डाइट पाइका सारी चीजें पूछो और उसको भी डिवर्म करो, क्योंकि गायनी में तो डिवर्म करना नहीं है, वो नहीं रिकमेंडेड ही नहीं है. सिर्फ ऑप्स वाले को नहीं डिवर्म करते,
ऑप्स में
सिर्फ
देखो, जो गायनी में पेशेंट को वर्म इन्फेस्टेशन नहीं हो सकते.
हो सकते हैं, लेकिन जो हम एम्पेरिकली वो तो फिर हम उसमें या तो टेस्ट कराएं, वरना फिर एम्पेरिकली जो हम करते हैं डिवर्म वो सिर्फ ऑप्स के पेशेंट को नहीं करते.
क्यों? ये गायनी में मेडिसिन कॉन्ट्राइंडिकेटेड है. Is there any contraindication of Vermox to non-pregnant females?
नहीं, कॉन्ट्राइंडिकेटेड तो नहीं है, लेकिन
But still,
WHO की रिकमेंडेशन है कि आपने डिवर्म करना है.
You need to exclude other causes, as even if now heavy menstrual bleeding is cause of her anemia and there are some coexistent causes for low hemoglobin level, and you address only heavy menstrual bleeding and other causes persist, even then your patient will continue to have symptoms of low hemoglobin level and anemia.
तो फिर इसमें मुझे सिर्फ ये बता दें कि कितने सवाल पूछूं एनीमिया के. एनीमिया के तो 10 सवाल हैं. अब मैं सारी
लेनी है एनीमिया,
पूरी हिस्ट्री दोबारा लूं एनीमिया की.
yes.
पाइका की भी हिस्ट्री लूं,
yes.
या सिर्फ
पूरी लेनी है, पाइका की भी लेनी है, इसलिए कि आपने
और उसको डिवर्म भी करना है,
सारे एक्सक्लूड करने हैं. और जब लो हीमोग्लोबिन लेवल या शॉर्टनेस ऑफ ब्रेथ आ गई तो आपने उसके डिफरेंशियल्स भी रूल आउट करने हैं. और HMB के साथ लो हीमोग्लोबिन लेवल लाजिम मलजूम है. अगर आप इसे छोड़ देते हैं तो फिर आपकी जान नहीं छूट सकती.
HMB की तो पहले इतनी लंबी हिस्ट्री होती है, उसके बाद फिर मैं एनीमिया की भी अगर पूरी हिस्ट्री लूं तो वो तो मेरा टाइम मैनेज होगा ही नहीं.
नहीं होता,
वो बताने वाला
जब आप प्रैक्टिस करते हैं तो हो जाता है. और ये पेशेंट आपकी आई कहाँ से थी?
ये वाली मेरी पेशेंट गंगाराम में एडमिट है, कान्हा मोड़ से आई थी.
कान्हा कितनी दूर है गंगाराम से?
लोग शायद इससे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा?
इससे फर्क पड़ेगा ना कि अगर पेशेंट दूर पार से आई है और पेशेंट पहले ही एक लो हीमोग्लोबिन है, ऊपर से डायबिटिक है, इवन इफ हर एंडोमीटर बायोप्सी इज नॉर्मल, एंडोमीटर बायोप्सी से आपका कॉज डायग्नोज करना नहीं था, आपका मैलिग्नेंसी एक्सक्लूड करना था. अब पेशेंट को डेफिनेटिव ट्रीटमेंट दे के नहीं भेजनी, बस फिर उसे वो दे के भेज दी. और आपने तो एस्ट्रोजन भी देना मुनासिब नहीं समझा उसे और पोलिप निकाला और घर भेज दिया.
अब जब आप फॉलो अप पे आइए, अब मैंने इसको एस्ट्रोजन देना है ना, लेकिन देखिए मेरा कांसेप्ट ये है,
देखो जो मोस्ट कॉमन कॉज ऑफ पोस्टमेनोपॉजल ब्लीडिंग इज एट्रोफिक वेजिनाइटिस irrespective of other sign symptoms. कहीं ये लिखा है कि
मुझे एक बार ट्रीटमेंट भी बता दें क्या देना होता है.
Diagnostic criteria for atrophic vaginitis is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. कहाँ लिखा है कि एट्रोफिक वेजिनाइटिस के साथ उसे ड्राइनेस भी होना जरूरी है, उसे डिस्पेरोनिया भी होना जरूरी है, हो सकता है वो सेक्सुअली एक्टिव ही ना हो. जब मोस्ट कॉमन 70% है या 80% कॉज ऑफ postmenopausal bleeding is atrophic vaginitis, and only of the other causes 10% can be hyperplasia and malignancy. फिर आप उस 10% को टॉप मोस्ट पे लेके आ रहे हो और जो 70% है उसे आप बिल्कुल नेग्लेक्ट कर रहे हो। ठीक है, आपने एंडोमेट्रियल बायोप्सी कर दी, पॉलीपेक्टमी कर दी, आपने एक्सक्लूड कर दिया, फिर पेशेंट का आप सोशो इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस देखो, वो डिपेंडेंट ऑन हर सन्स है, उसे एनीमिया हो गया, डायबिटीज उसे ऑलरेडी है, वो 1-2 घंटे के ट्रैवल से आई है और पहले भी वो 1 महीना ब्लीड करने के बाद प्रेजेंट की है और अब आप फिर उसे कुछ भी नहीं दे के भेज रहे और महीने बाद उसे, और आपने ये भी नहीं पूछा कि आपकी पॉलीपेक्टमी के बाद सिम्टम्स इम्प्रूव हुए हैं या नहीं हुए। और अगर पेशेंट के सिम्टम्स परसिस्ट कर रहे हैं और आपने ब्लीडिंग रोकने के लिए उसे कोई दवाई भी नहीं दी,
अच्छा,
पेशेंट
इसमें
ब्लीडिंग
क्या?
के साथ आई थी या नहीं आई थी,
जी
तो
बिल्कुल।
सबसे पहले उसकी ब्लीडिंग स्टॉप करनी थी या नहीं करनी थी। आप जितनी मर्जी ट्रांसफ्यूजन कर लें, अगर पेशेंट की ब्लीडिंग कॉन्टिन्यूअस है तो क्या उसकी एचबी इंप्रूव हो जाएगी। और आपने
किस
एक
तरह से ब्लीडिंग स्टॉप करूं उसको? ट्रांजामिन कौन स्टॉप
I will
करूं?
give her, first of all, I will send her endometrial biopsy, prescribe her treatment for stopping her vaginal bleeding, wait for endometrial biopsy report, and further management will be according to that. And once I have done polypectomy, as polyp can be the likely cause of bleeding, then I will assess my patient for symptom improvement.
ओके, प्रिस्क्राइब फॉर ट्रीटमेंट फॉर द
And
ब्लीडिंग।
if her
और
symptoms
ये जो
are still persistent,
ब्लीडिंग का
as
मैंने
she belongs to
मैंने
जी
एक सेकेंड, ये जो ब्लीडिंग का मैंने उसको प्रिस्क्राइब है ट्रीटमेंट फॉर द ब्लीडिंग, इसको मैंने डिस्क्राइब नहीं करना कि क्या ट्रीटमेंट, बस यही लाइन बोल
करना
के
है,
चली जाऊं?
डिस्क्राइब करना है, क्यों नहीं करना। हर
क्या
पेशेंट
क्या
को,
बोलूं?
अब इस पेशेंट को तो आप सबसे पहले ट्रांजामिन पोस्ट और 40 दोगे ना, इसलिए कि जो
ठीक
फर्स्ट
है,
लाइन ट्रीटमेंट है वो किसी भी ब्लीडिंग की वो ये है, वो आपने देनी है
ठीक।
और आपने असेस करना है कि उसने रिस्पॉन्ड किया है या नहीं किया। और इस पेशेंट को इस सोशो इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस के साथ, इस इवन दिस हिस्टोपैथोलॉजी रिपोर्ट के साथ आप उसे डेफिनेटिव ट्रीटमेंट देके भेजोगे।
जब जब सिर्फ टीएच बीएसओ कर दूं, टीएच बीएसओ कर दूं इस ब्लीडिंग पे?
टोटल एब्डोमिनल हिस्टेक्टमी बाय बीएसओ।
क्योंकि 55 इयर्स ऑफ एज है, तो इसमें तो फिर मैंने उसके ओवरीज को कंजर्व करके क्या करूंगी?
What are functions of ovary?
Patient has already entered into the menopause, and after 3 years of the menopause, ovaries stop
What
producing
are
any
functions of ovary?
ovaries produce hormones which are
Which, horm
essential for the bone.
which hormones?
हाँ जी।
Which hormones?
नहीं पता। एस्ट्रोजन
ये ना आपने आज खुद ढूंढना है कि वो फ्रेक्टमी की इंडिकेशंस क्या हैं और किस एज पे वो फ्रेक्टमी रिकमेंडेड है। व्हाट आर इंडिकेशंस ऑफ वो।
45 के बाद शादी हर किसी की करनी देनी चाहिए।
अल्लाह माफ करे यार, इसका
अरे
मतलब है 10 साल बाद मुझे कुछ हो जाए तो आप लोग ओवरीज निकाल दोगे हैं, और 15 साल बाद अगर आप लोगों को भी
हमें सिखा दें, वरना हम कुछ भी कर देंगे। हमें अभी से सिखा दें कि क्या करना है।
ये आज आपने खुद ढूंढना है। Now it is recommended that even at 80 years of age, if ovaries are normal looking and no benign pathology, you have to conserve ovaries as these are source of androgens that are important for in sexual activity, maintaining libido, and mood stabilization. So, for
इवन अगर पेशेंट में रिस्क फैक्टर्स हैं, जैसे इसमें तो अपनी एक हिस्ट्री है।
for ovaries, you will assess intraoperatively. If ovaries are normal looking, then you will not do oophorectomy. Even if there is strong family history of ovarian carcinoma or some benign pathology or ovarian cyst is present and patient is postmenopausal and intraoperatively ovaries are suspicious looking, then you will remove ovaries. Otherwise, no. Oophorectomy is only recommended in hyperplasia with atypia or carcinoma. Even in cervical carcinoma, oophorectomy is not recommended. You can transposition ovaries before radiotherapy.
Okay. डॉक्टर शाजिया, मैं इसकी हिस्टेक्टमी को जस्टिफाई कैसे करूंगी कि अगर उसकी एट्रोफिक वेजिनाइटिस की वजह से है तो वो तो ठीक हो जाएगी, सिर्फ इसका सोशियो इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस को लेके मैं उसकी, क्योंकि हिस्टेक्टमी का अपना भी तो देखें, इतना ज्यादा उसको